Do things seem impossible for you, my friends? I love this book. This is a book called It Always Seems Impossible Until It's Done, Motivation for Dreamers and Doers, which guilty as charged. I am a dreamer and I am a doer. And today I want to tell you a little bit about my backstory. I have lived quite a life. I have lived through a number of impossible situations, and it always seems impossible until it's done is so true. And I want to tell you a little bit about my situation. Maybe it will inspire you to not give up on yours. So a little bit about my backstory. For 19 years, I was married to a man profoundly afflicted with a serious case of obsessive compulsive disorder, commonly referred to as OCD. He was a good man. He was faithful to me, but he was profoundly mentally ill. I did not know it when I married him. He was not able to hold a job. We ended up, thanks be to God, having 6 beautiful children. I know, you're probably thinking, why on earth would you have 6 children? That's another story. They are my greatest blessing. The point of my story is just to show you how I have gone through impossible situations and I have survived, and you can too. And I want to give you hope and inspiration today, and maybe you can gather a few glimmers of inspiration to help you keep going if you're going through something really hard right now. So my former husband had severe OCD, off the charts. If any of you have seen the movie As Good as It Gets, that is nothing compared to what we went through as a family. All this to say, I am a devout Catholic, and to me, divorce was not an option. But that is because I was unaware that there was a pre-existing condition and that I ultimately had grounds for a church annulment. I did not want to get divorced, but it became an actual necessity for a lot of reasons, which I won't go into today. All this to say, for many years, I cried in my pillow. I struggled. I don't have much education. I supported our family in large part through my ingenuity, my creativity, starting different home-based businesses, and ultimately getting into a direct sales company called Usborne Books at Home, which became my lifeboat for a lot of reasons. I got out of the house. I was able to create a pretty regular income on a monthly basis. I was able to earn 9 trips. I was featured on the back of the catalog twice. I was featured in their recruiting brochure. And this is while I was living in total chaos at home. I started with 4 children, and I had 2 more during the process of my whole Usborne journey, which lasted for, about 18, 19 years. And then I finally left. So my point in this, my friends, is that I was dealing with chaos, but I was not a victim. I recognized I was in an impossible situation with a very mentally ill man. I did not see any recourse of what to do except just to grit my teeth, be compassionate, hold on, love my family, and make as much money as I could using my innate abilities and developing my skills and being creative, right? So ultimately, I needed to get a divorce, and I had been told by 2 very strong Catholic experts that I had very probable grounds for a church annulment. And so after my divorce went through, I sought a church annulment. This was back in St. Louis, Missouri. And over the course of the next 13 months, I did not know if it would be granted. And if it had not been granted, I would not be having the story I'm going to share with you today. And I would not even have dated, because for a Catholic to be married, it's till death do you part, except if you have grounds for a church annulment, which I did, which basically, not to get off on a tangent, a church annulment basically means that at the time of your marriage, there was some impediment to it being a sacramental union. It's not denying there was a civil union. It's saying there was something broken at the very beginning. And so my point is, I was given the divorce, and through the process, while my former husband was away because he was very ill, I was quite plump and overweight from all of the stress, from working so hard, and I was trying to put my life back together. I literally was like Humpty Dumpty, but I was determined, if it's going to be, it's up to me. So I set about putting myself on my own personal development program. And one of them was, let's see if I can get in better physical shape. There happened to be a local women's gym near our house. And so I would walk up there and I did my workouts. And ultimately, one of the personal trainers there noticed that I had a lot of dedication to losing weight. And she said to me, "You need to do Body for Life." Well, I had never heard of it, but she said, "I will help you. I will show you how to lift weights." And so I did that. Keep in mind that during these years, when I was married with this husband, I endured a lot of humiliation. I am pretty sure people snickered at me behind my back because his compulsions were very embarrassing. I won't go into what they were, but they were visible if he would happen to leave the house, though he rarely left the house when it got badly because it went into agoraphobia. But I was pretty much the laughing stock I felt when people would see his repetitive checking behaviors. But I endured all of this, okay? I'm not saying this to complain. I'm sharing this to give you a little bit about my backstory to lead into what I'm going to be sharing. I didn't have much education, as I was saying, but I developed different ways to create income, and I did very well with Usborne books. So then finally, I was given the church annulment, and so after the church annulment was granted, I went on an online dating site called Catholic Match. Now, I went on because my little brother kept saying, "You're going on Catholic Match if you get the annulment." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." And he goes, "Yes, you are." And I said, "No, I'm not." And he said, "Yes, you are." I said, "I'm not a cow for sale." Now, I know that may sound funny, but to me, that's what it looked like. It looked like, oh, I'm a cow and I'm being put up on the market. And that's not at all what I wanted to be viewed as. Nonetheless, I thought, well, I have the annulment. Why not just go on this site? I will stay hidden. Let me just check out the territory. Let me just see what the scene is like, see what these men are like. And I'm here to tell you, I created a very compelling, well, I think it was compelling. Obviously, it was compelling. I had a bunch of men contact me. But what I did, because I had discovered something called Myers-Briggs. And Myers-Briggs is a way to understand your personality. It's a way to understand how you relate to the world, how you take in information, how you process the world, and how you respond to other people. And I had taken this test when I was going through the divorce at a local community college. So I thought, I had heard that men, when they're dating, they kind of look at it as like, what do you call it? An interview, like a job interview. So I thought, okay, in my Catholic Match description, I put, "Any man interested in me, please take this test." So all of a sudden, all these results started coming, and it was really quite humorous, made me laugh. And I'd go, "No, not you, not you, not you," because I knew the type I wanted. Okay, I will tell more about that story at a later date if anyone has any interest. Suffice it to say that on the 40th day on Catholic Match, my dream man responded to me. And the way it happened was this. I put a post up. Once I decided to come out of hiding, I decided, oh, it can't hurt. I'll go into what's called the open forum. Because you see, I had been in what was called the pinky room, which was for women, and then the men's room was called the cave. I went out in the open forum, and I simply said, "Men, if you want to get a woman's attention, how do you do it? Do you write her a love letter? Do you tape a message to the roof of her car?" I don't remember. I put some silly little things just to start conversation. Lo and behold, my now husband saw that, and he wrote, "None of the above. But if I write a poem just for you, can I post it here?" Holy Toledo, I'm like, what? And I said, well, that was not one of the options, but sure, go for it. And I didn't think too much about it. Well, that night, in the middle of the night, I had to get up to go to the bathroom. And lo and behold, he had written the most amazing poem. And I'm going to stop right here and read it to you because I've already kind of spoiled the story. We ended up getting married, but I'm going to read to you the poem that I discovered it like, let's see, what time was it? It was at 12:42 a.m. on June 19th, 2006. And I've had a calligraphy business for a long time. And so I, one year, did this in calligraphy for him as a gift. I will show you what it looks like, and then I will read it to you. Okay, Now imagine you've awakened at 12:46 in the morning to use the bathroom and you just decide to check Catholic Match for whatever and you find this poem. Actually, I was so tired I couldn't even process it. My eyes were like this. I went back to bed and I said I'll read it in the morning. But this is the poem that I discovered at 12:46 a.m. on June 19th, 2006. And it's titled Unreality. I dream of a girl I don't even know. I see her as if through a haze. Her face is surrounded by a soft, warm glow, and her smile puts me into a daze. We stroll hand in hand through the towering trees. We giggle and laugh as we walk. And though I am nervous, she puts me at ease with her charm and her wit and her talk. Our romance is blooming like flowers in spring, and our hearts are beating in time. The song of the birds is so sweet as they sing, while our thoughts blend together in rhyme. The scent of the air fills my head with delight, and the touch of your hand gives me chills. As you look in my eyes, I feel high as a kite. I've waited so long for these thrills. The day ends so quickly, how can it be so? It seems like we've only just met. I fall to my knees, I can't let you go. And you whisper so softly, not yet. I awake with a start, alone in my bed, and realize things aren't what they seem. As the thought of your smile fades from my head, once again, she's only a dream. Now, just imagine, you ladies out there, imagine waking up and finding that. Well, I'm like, oh boy. Anyway, one thing led to another, and we ended up, of course, getting married. But prior to me meeting him, I want to bring up the fact that I did Body for Life, and I lost 3 sizes in 16 weeks. Yes, that's a lot. It was a lot. A couple people told me I look like a teenager. Other people were saying you're disappearing. I was just following directions. I was just following the process, and I wasn't doing it perfectly. Now, I was going through a file a couple of days ago, and I found a couple of pictures of myself. Would you like to see those? These were 2 pictures I put on Catholic Match. The first one says, getting ready to present a workshop at our national convention, June 2006. This was for the Usborne convention, and this is my picture, okay? And then the other one says, leaving for the awards banquet at national convention 0606. And this I put on Catholic Match too. So these are a couple of the pictures that I put on, but they're not the picture that really caught his attention. Maybe I can share that in another day. All this to say, getting in shape certainly helped get his attention. Now, I'll tell you something really funny. My husband is a certified arborist. That means he takes care of trees. He loves trees. I call him the tree whisperer. I tell him, and I tell people that the trees, when you walk by, they're whispering and their branches are moving because they're bowing before you. They're like, oh, here comes Brett. Here comes the tree whisperer. Do you want to know what's really funny? The picture that got his attention, I'm standing next to a tree. I just use it as a prop. And our joke is he saw the picture and goes, oh, nice tree. And then he noticed me. My friends, I had an impossible situation for so many years being married to a man with severe OCD. I never, ever, ever thought I would escape that. I thought I was trapped. But to me, I endured it because I'm a good Catholic and I thought it's what I was supposed to do. And actually, it was what I was supposed to do for the time being. But I feel like one day God said, little birdie, I'm opening the door, fly away. Believe me, I flew away very fast. And in fact, I was in St. Louis and my husband lived north of Tampa in Florida. And so we ended up getting married, and I want to show you the picture because I had 6 children. He was a young widower. He had 4 children, and all 10 children were in our wedding. And here's a picture of our wedding. Can you see that? All 10 children were in our wedding. It was like a fairy tale. Couldn't believe it. And another thing really beautiful I'll share before I close. Many Catholic brides, after the wedding, they'll take a rose over to a statue of Mary. We don't worship statues. It's like a visual reminder that we have a Heavenly Mother in heaven. And many brides will take a rose and someone will sing Ave Maria, right? Or they'll play it on the organ. Well, what we did instead is I found a very long consecration prayer to Jesus and Mary online. And we broke it up into 12 different sections. The last two, the Amen was for the little 3-year-old at the time, but the whole family went over to the statue of Mary and we had a dozen roses because there were 10 children and then Brett and myself. And each one of us would say our part of the prayer and go up and put the rose in the vase in front of Mary. Well, when our one daughter, Julie, put her rose in, all of a sudden some petals fell out. Petals swirled. They fell. They lazily floated down and went to the ground at the feet of the statue of Mary. And my oldest son turned to me and he mouthed the word 10. 10 little petals had fallen out of the rose that Julie placed in the vase. The only one. It was kind of like Mary was saying, I'm accepting you and I'm accepting your 10 little rose petals. So my friend, it always seems impossible until it's done. I lost 3 sizes in 16 weeks through dedication, through hard work, through consistent lifting weights, consistently doing cardio. I did weights 3 days a week, cardio 3 days a week, and then I had a cheat day. And actually I cheated more often because back then my sugar addiction was full-blown out of control at times. No matter what your situation is, my friends, do not lose hope. Do not give up. If you've drifted far away from your health goals, it's not too late to turn around. Turn your ship around one step at a time. Make a decision, and if you'd like, follow my journey. Right now, I'm doing a Body for Life program, and I've actually created my own system, a journal, to keep me on track because with my temperament, I can lose focus pretty easily. And so I've created this. It's a Ship-Shape Queen 90-Day Transformation Journey, and it's all about traveling to 12 imaginary islands in the sea. I'm the queen of my ship, and my ship is navigating a journey. And each week, I'm arriving at a different island on the way to my transformation because I put on some fluffy fat and pounds. And I want to reverse and go back to who I was like 20 years ago. Now, you may laugh and say that's impossible. Maybe it is, but guess what? It always seems impossible until it's done. And this girl is setting out to prove that it can be done. Bill Phillips, the man who invented Body for Life, said, if you did it before, you can do it again. So those of you who may have drifted from your health goals and you look at your body and go, oh, it's impossible. No, my friends, just set a course and steadily keep marching towards it. Keep sailing towards your island of transformation. And if you'd like more inspiration about that, please subscribe to my channel. I will be sharing more about my journey and all about the things that are working and the things that are not working so that I can help you reach your island of transformation. Do me a quick favor. Please subscribe, please share this, and in the comments, tell me what part of today's video spoke to you. I really need to know. This is a very new channel. I need to know if what I'm saying has any value, if it's helping anyone, if it's inspiring anyone, and what I can do better, what you'd like to hear more about. I love to talk, okay? I used to tell people I wasn't born attached to an umbilical cord. I was born attached to a telephone cord. And those were in the days when, we didn't have cell phones. I love to talk. I'm a chatty Cathy. And in fact, that's one of the things I've had to silence on my journey is in addition to me liking to talk out loud, there is chatter going on in my brain. That like when I'm lifting weights and doing lunges, all these voices are saying, stop it, this doesn't feel good, this is hard. I'm like, shh, turn down the sound, silence everybody. I don't want to hear anything from anybody in my brain because the wall of resistance, my friends, looms high and wide when you are setting about to change something for the good. So don't be a stranger, my friends. Put in the comments, please, what you liked here, what I could do better, and what you'd like me to talk about. Until next time, it always seems impossible until it's done. Let's do it together.